بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. ربنا افتح بيننا وبين قومنا بالحق وأنت خير الفاتحين. أما بعد، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام.
It looks like everyone's taking a nice, cozy, smooth nap. Try it one more time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Welcome back to week 3 of the Tajweed 101 course. I want to kick off by saying, Bismillah, MashaAllah, great work on quiz 2. It was quite hard, and I will say it was quite hard, and the average score was well above what I expected. The average score was, I think, 80% or about just over 80%. So, alhamdulillah, I think everyone did a really good job. I'm very proud of everyone. And everyone who did an effort, even if you think they didn't do so well, no, you did a great job, mashallah. I also heard back from the tutorials, alhamdulillah, it seems that they've been quite engaging, mashallah. Big thank you to the tutors, and big thank you to everyone who's putting an effort in their tutorials, asking questions, being proactive, and most importantly, making mistakes, because that's where all learning starts. You got to make mistakes to learn. So alhamdulillah, really good stuff. Very good job. Very proud of everyone. All right, a few updates. So I've asked you all to answer a few questions about your availability for tutorials and how you would rate yourself based on your own reading abilities. And from there, I've assigned you to specific tutorials. So now, rather than it being something randomized that you kind of pop into one as per your convenience, now I've assigned you to a specific tutorial. I've yet to finalize that tonight, just because we still have a couple of people we're chasing up. And then you're going to be put into a WhatsApp group chat with this tutorial group and with your tutor, and we'll be following up a little bit more closely with you to make sure that you're up to date, you're up to track, and you have the support that you need. You may have not been put with a tutor that you were with for the last 2 weeks. Don't worry, it's nothing. There's been no input here. There's not like, oh my God, your tutor's like, yeah, I don't like this guy anymore, take him out of my class. No, none of that happened. We've based people primarily based on their abilities and based on the timetable thing. And I've gone with the abilities that you've described yourself with, not what I would describe you as, or not what your tutor would describe you as. So purely based on how you answered in the quiz too. Okay. I will be releasing that tonight, inshallah, on Google Classroom once I've finalized the list. If for some reason you can't make that time, or there's been a mistake, or you'd prefer just to be moved to another one, that's completely fine. Please send me a message or give me a call or whatever, and we will try and sort something out for you, inshallah. If in the next coming weeks, the next 4 weeks, you're unable to make your tutorial for whatever reason, that's okay, let us know, and we will move you to another tutorial. But you have to let us know in advance so we can put you in another one that would be suitable, just out of respect for the other people in there who've already committed to it. Sound good? Alhamdulillah. Good to hear. All right, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Let's get started. The rules of meme and noon with a shadda. Next one. Now, this is one of my favorite chapters of the Tuhfa, partly because this is the shortest chapter. This chapter is made up of just one line. We're going to learn it in like 5-10 minutes. It's going to be so cool. Bismillah. The Sheikh writes, and I quote, وَغُنَّ مِيمًا ثُمَّ نُونًا شُدِّدًا وَسَمِّ كُلًّا حَرْفَ غُنَّةٍ بَدًا. Apply ghunna to meme and noon when they have a shadda, and call these the letters of shadda. What does that mean? We'll elaborate a little bit more in the next slide. Noon and meme are two letters which come from, which have the shared makhraj, the shared articulation point of the khayshum, the nasal cavity. If you notice here, we have that area in your nose where you breathe in air and breathe out air. That is like an empty cave. You have nothing in there, except if you have a cold or something. When you say an, what happens is the bridge of your nose has to vibrate to make that sound. So there's a bit of a reverberation going on, similar to like if you were in a big cave and go echo, 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 right? It's a similar concept as that, but it's happening inside your nose as you speak. Cool. And this only occurs in the letters of Noon and Meme. Now you might say, okay, well, sometimes if I'm reading, I can hear it in other letters like Alif or Ya or Well, right? Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. And you feel it, like I can feel it in my nose. No, you shouldn't. This is a common misconception which many people in the Ummah unfortunately have, where they read through their nose. And it's something that you have to try and unlearn it and try and read through your mouth, except for that Noon and the Meme. Quick little story. This is kind of unrelated, but it's a fun fact and it helps you learn this concept more. Back in the day when they first started recording the Quran, the type of equipment that they had was very rudimentary. The old style radios that we had a lot of feedback and they were very, very fuzzy. And so, when in the 1950s and 60s, when people now are getting their hands on radios and whatnot, and it's now we have a lot of Quran broadcasting channels on the radio, people are listening to these really beautiful recitations, but alongside that recitation, they hear the feedback of the actual machinery of the radio. And that feedback is a kind of humming sound. And when they copy the reciter that they're hearing on the radio, that humming sound can only be made through the nose. So they add that humming sound to everything they read. They'll go, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, Kul huwa Allahu ahad, Allahu samad. Yeah? As opposed to reading it nice and clearly, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, Kul huwa Allahu ahad, Allahu samad. So there is a slight difference there. If you couldn't pick it up, maybe it's something to do with my mic. So again, there are technological restraints which lead to this. Anyways, if you've zoned out for the last 2 minutes, that's okay. We're going to park that concept aside. The ghunnah, now that we have talked about, when it comes to our noon and our meme, with the shadda on top, that little W symbol, has to have the ghunnah applied to it for 2 harakat, for 2 counts or 2 beats. What is a harakat? A harakat is fatha, dhamma, kasra, a-i-u, ba-bi-bu, right? And that is our base unit of measurement that we use. So depending on how fast you're reading, okay, your alhamdu, that sound that you made, that ha sound that you made, that's 1 harakah. Now, if you times that by 2, you get 2 harakahs. And when applied to the noon and the meme, that is an, right? That's 2 times the normal. The normal for noon and meme is an, right? But with the ghunnah, with the shadda, we apply the ghunnah, which is for 2 harakat, and okay, and it's a little bit longer. A way for you to test this is, as I mentioned last week, you can lightly put your fingers on both sides of your nose, and you can feel that vibration slightly. And if you were to block your nose, you wouldn't be able to feel this. And it just wouldn't work out. Similarly, if you have a cold or some kind of blocked nose, you will see that it's a bit harder to say. That's completely fine. But on a normal day, when you're in normal health, you should be able to go and it should come out like a kind of hum, but only for those 2 letters. Don't let it spill over into any of your other letters. And the way you can see whether you're spilling over into the other letters or not is again with the nose test. So for example, if I'm reading Surah Al-Ikhlas, I should only hear that vibration or that hum when I'm saying the letter noon or the letter meme, and even stronger when I'm doing it with a shadda. The first ayah doesn't have a noon or a meme. Kul huwa Allahu ahad, no noon, no meme. So with my nose fully clear, it should sound Kul huwa Allahu ahad. And if I block my nose, قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. So they should sound identical because I didn't engage my nose in any of those. Sweet as. Any questions on the ghunnah of Noon and Mim? No? Lovely. It's pretty straightforward, alhamdulillah. Here we have a couple of examples which you'll be going over in your tutorials with your teachers, but I'll go over just the first one. I have here the word al-jannah. The noon here has a shadda on top. That tells me that this noon is a double noon, so I'm going to do a double ghunnah on it. I'm going to hold that hum for 2 counts. So rather than saying al-jannah, I'm going to say al-jannah. Right? If I look to the final one, the one at the very bottom, I have a meme here with a shadda in the word fa'amma. I'm going to hold that for 2 counts because there's a shadda on top of the meme. Fa'amma. Nice and easy. Now we move on to the next chapter, chapter 4 of the Tuhfa, and that is the chapter of meme sakina, the rules of meme sakina. Now, if you remember, noon sakina, that's a noon that has a sukoon on it or doesn't have any haraka, no fatha, no dhamma, no kasra. It's just a neutral one. Similarly, meme sakina is a meme, no fatha, no dhamma, no kasra. It's just neutral. Okay, no vowels to it. Okay. Sometimes it can be symbolized with an actual sukoon symbol on it, that little mini hat looking thing, and we'll go over that in a bit more detail. And the rules of meme sakina are split into 3. We have ikhfa shafawi, idgham shafawi, and idhar shafawi. You'll notice these are the same words that we use to describe the noon sakina. However, the difference here is we call him shafawi because shafawi means from the lips, or in English, labial, if you want to be very fancy, right? Because this is idhar from the lips, it's to make clear from the lips, idgham from the lips. We call it that because meme, as per the diagram, comes from the lips. Meme, a nice and easy letter, is very similar to the English letter M. It is when you press the 2 lips together and you hum from the nose. That is what pronounces that sound of meme. That's the mechanics behind it. Our first rule of ikhfa shafawi, right? Ikhfa, as we talked about last week, means to hide. So this is the labial hiding, when you're hiding a letter. And there's only one letter you have to memorize for this one, and that is ba. Ba. So if our meme comes before a ba, so our meme sakin, no fatha, no dhamma, no kasra, the next word we have a ba, okay? Then we hide the meme. We hide the meme, right? Now, how does that look like? If we skip 2 slides forward, if I look here on our word, the 2 words here in the beginning, رَبَّهُمْ بِهِمْ, right? That meme sakin by itself, we would go رَبَّهُمْ. Okay, hold on. Yeah, رَبَّهُمْ. Yeah. And then afterwards, we can see that the next word starts with a ba. So that means our meme here is going to have ikhfa shafawi. We're going to hide it. And it's going to sound like رَبَّهُمْ بِهِمْ. رَبَّهُمْ بِهِمْ. They might say, Ayman, that's not hiding. I can hear it clearly. It is still hiding, but it's a very different way of hiding than we talked about for our noon sakina. What's going on here is you're still putting in the ghunnah from the nose, but you're not pressing the lips together in a strong way to make that strong meme sound. An analogy I like to give is, going back 1 slide, is one of my favorite foods, the cheese toastie. Now, for those who aren't aware, the cheese toastie is like the Australian, New Zealand version of a grilled cheese sandwich. It's very simple. It's 2 slices of bread, maybe a bit of butter with cheese in the middle. You put it in a toasty machine and it kind of heats it up and it makes the outside like really crunchy and crispy and it melts the cheese on the inside. Beautiful dish. Try it out one day. Very simple. Anyways, on the top here, I've got a cheese sandwich. If I just put a slice of bread and a slice of cheese on top of that, and another slice of bread on that, they simply sit on top of each other with just gravity pushing them down. There is no force being applied. It's just very simple, very plain, very easy. If I was to get that same sandwich and I was to put it through my toasty machine, okay, and it presses down on it like a panini press, and heat is applied, I'm going to end up with a golden, crunchy, crispy, melty final result. What does any of this have to do with what we're talking about? Well, in إخفاء شفوي, the lips simply lay on top of each other. ربهم بهم, right? They simply lie on top of each other without any pressure or force applied to the lips to bring them together. Instead of right, where you actually have to push down with both lips. When I have my meme with a ghunna, meme with a shadda with a ghunna, as we talked about before, right, that is your cheese toasty. That's after it's gone through the toaster, you press on both sides, and that sounds absolutely beautiful. That's when you get verses, like قوله تعالى from Surah Hud, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, قيل يا نوح اهبط بسلام منا وبركات عليك وعلى أمم من معك. Right, this is a beautiful ayah right here. You have so many memes back to back to back to back. So the meme here, to get that sound, we have to apply that pressure. So that relates to the previous chapter. Now, when we go back to our ikhfa that we're talking about, our ikhfa shafawi, our word of rabbahum bihim, what I'm doing is I'm bringing my lips together, but I'm not pressing down. I don't say rabbahum bihim, rabbahum bihim. No, that's wrong. I say rabbahum bihim, rabbahum bihim. Does that make sense to everyone? If it doesn't make sense, it's completely fine. Feel free, I can explain it again. Okay, sweet. Al-Barakatillah. Moving on to our second rule is idgham shafawi. Idgham shafawi. And idgham, as we said, means to merge. When you're putting two things into each other. Traditionally, that's been used for like a sword and a sheath. You put the sword inside its sheath to keep it in there. Right? So here we are merging two letters together. And again, this one's really easy to learn. It's just meme. The only letter you have to worry about for idgham shafawi is meme. Ikhfa shafawi is ba, idgham shafawi is meme. Okay? I think you can see where this is going. This is going to be a nice one. When you have a meme sakin followed by another meme, the two memes will merge together to make one big meme. And when I say one big meme, I mean a meme with a shadda. Just like we talked about before, a meme with a shadda is a double meme that's going to have a ghunna applied to it for two harakat. If I look at the examples here, I have, it's not like I put it, وَآمَنَهُمْ مِن, right? So the final letter of the word وَآمَنَهُمْ is a meme. It's sakin. I don't see a fatha on it. I don't see a kasra on it. I don't see a dhamma on it. Cool. I know it's sakin. Easy. The next word starts with a meme. Okay. So now I know that these two memes are going to be put together. And to make it even easier for me, shout out my bro, the guy who wrote the Mus'haf. Because he has put in a W, a shadda symbol, on top of the second meme to tell me that I'm going to merge these two together and I'm going to make them longer. So rather than saying وَآمَنَهُمْ مِنْ خَوْفٍ, I go and I say وَآمَنَهُمْ مِنْ خَوْفٍ, وَآمَنَهُمْ مِنْ خَوْفٍ, and I press my lips together for this. Hum, hum, min, min. Yeah. So the lips have to press together to make, and then hum from the nose for the length of two harakat. Nice. Any questions on that? Okay, moving forward.
Sorry, just what?
Yes.
So the haraka is only there for this reason. So if I would find the same word not preceded by a word that ends with the meme, it wouldn't be there. Is that correct?
You mean if the two memes come in the same word?
No, sorry. So if the second word in this instance, if it
Yeah.
would not be preceded, if it would not be preceded by a word that ends with a meme, then it would not have the haraka.
Oh,
Like
the
it's
shadda.
only there for the merging idea. It's like to make that easier.
Kind of. Well, no, because sometimes you will have a meme with a shadda. I talking about the shadda, the straight, the length name.
Sorry, the shot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sometimes you will have a meme with a shadda by itself with no merging applied. Yes, that can be the case. So if it's easier for you to think of it this way, some people find this easier. The first meme just gets cancelled out, and the second one has a shadda on it. But linguistically speaking, no.
No, sorry. I was. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I was just. Yeah. That's just. I mean, it's only there for the merging part. If I would find that word on its own, the second word, it wouldn't have the the shadda.
correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. Cool. Thanks.
No worries. Awesome. And last one, إظهار شفوي. All right. This, as we talked about in إظهار, regular إظهار for one, means to clear, to make clear. So that's when you show something. You know, إظهار my bottle. I've showed my bottle. Okay. And the letters of إظهار are pretty straightforward. It's everything that we haven't covered so far. So everything that's not ba or meme. Ba, as we said, goes for إخفاء شفوي, and meme is for إدغام شفوي. The rest of them are إظهار. And إظهار is really easy to learn because you already know it. It's just default settings. إظهار is literally default settings. You just pronounce the meme as normal with no haraka, no fatha, no dhamma, no kasra. And to make it even easier for you, shout out the bro who wrote the Madani Mus'haf, who added the sukoon symbol on top of the meme of إظهار to show me that there's no haraka, no fatha, no dhamma, no kasra, but I'm still going to pronounce it fully. I'm going to make a full إظهار of it. It's not getting merged or hidden or anything like that. Cool. And that's that little sukoon symbol over there. Now, don't rely on that specifically, that sukoon symbol, because it doesn't exist in every single mushaf. As we talked about before, this is a feature that is most common in the Madani mushaf, the one that's printed in next to Masjid al-Nabawi, but it's not a necessity. Not every mushaf printed everywhere will have that. It's just a cool little thing that they add in some of them. Once you know the rule, though, you can read from any mushaf and you should be fine. Look at an example to help us kind of conceptualize it. Over here, I have hum'an, hum'an, right? So my meme, the fatha, no dhamma, no kasra. And it has a little sukoon sign on top of it. That's nice. And the word that's after it starts with a ayn, all right? So I know ayn is not ba, ayn is not meme. It's not going to be ikhfa, it's not going to be idgham, okay? It's going to be idhar. So I'm going to read my meme nice and clear. Hum'an, hum'an. So a nice, simple, clear meme. No tricks to this. Very straightforward. Yeah. Awesome. And the rest of the examples we'll go over in your tutorials, inshallah. Now we look to the Tuhfa. We look to chapter 4, the rules of meme sakina, where he writes, and I quote, والميم إن تسكن تاجي قبل الهجاء لا آلف لينات ذي الحجاء أحكامها ثلاثة لمن ضابت إخفاء إضغام وإظهار فقط. Right. And the letters of meme, if they have sukoon on it, and it comes before any of these letters of the alphabet, except a soft alif, don't worry about that part. All right. It has three letters, rules that can apply to it. إخفاء, إدغام, and إظهار, as we talked about. And these ones also, we call them shafawi to distinguish between them and the ones that we use for nun. فالأول الإخفاء عند الباء وسميه الشفوي للقراء والثاني إضغام بمثلها آتى وسمي إضغاما صغيرا يا فتى. So my first rule is إخفاء when we see a ba. So when the meme meets the ba, so the meme comes before the ba, okay, and it's second, then we apply إخفاء, we hide it, and we call this one shafawi, labial or from the lips. That's what the Quran, the reciters of the Quran have given it that name, as we said, to distinguish between that and the one for the non-sakina. والثاني, and the second rule is idgham, so merging, if another meme, so a likewise letter, another meme shows up, right? And call this a minor idgham, or serious student. By the way, the word fata here, for those who speak modern Arabic, might think, oh, fata, that means little boy. No, fata in this context would mean actually a student, regardless of gender and regardless of age. And it's evolved in the modern language to mean the young boy. But if a young boy doesn't go to school, technically he doesn't count as a fata. Anyway, unrelated. What does it mean by minor idgham? We will get to that in another chapter, inshallah. But all you should know is that we're merging the two memes together to make one big meme. والثالث الإظهار في الباقية من أحرف وسميها شفوية واحذر لدى واو وفاء تختفي لقربها والاتحاد فعرفي. Holy. There's two narrations for this one. I made a mistake. All right. And the third one is Ibhar in all of the other letters. Right? And this is also called Shafawi. Right? And because, again, we said it's labeled from the lips. Now, when we talk about Ibhar Shafawi, there is a small caveat that you have to be wary of. Be careful of waw and mim as two of the letters of Ibhar. I know the translation's on here, but who can explain to me in detail why specifically waw and mim? What does it mean to be careful of waw and mim when it comes to Ibhar Shafawi?
Is it wow or fa? It says fa, wow and
Oh,
fa.
sorry, fa and waw. Fa and waw for mim. So why is fa and waw, when they come after a mim sakin, why do we have to pay special attention to those ones?
Is it the
It is because it's easy to make the
articulation
honda sound? No.
articulation point is almost similar, like coming closer to the lips, like meme?
You're on the right track. Yes, because they both come from the articulation point of the lips. So fa, waw, and mim. Yep, they both come from the lips. But again, why does that mean you have to be careful? What are
Because
we being careful of?
the airflow has to go out for fa and wow, while meme we have to close our lips.
You're getting very warm. Okay. You pretty much got it. Like 90% of the way, everyone. MashaAllah. Good answers. Because, well, fa come from the lips as well as the meme, there is a risk that while you're reading them, you slip your meme, okay, you skip it, and you go straight to a fa and you go straight to a waw, all right? And your meme slips out. So you don't press the two lips together and go to the, you know? فعلوا فعلوا, for example. Alif meme فعلوا فعلوا. If I rush it and I don't pay attention, I can end up saying فعلوا فعلوا, right? Where because they both come from very similar places, I go straight to the fa and I don't give my meme its full rights. As we said, the Tajweed is about giving every letter its full rights depending on its place. And the right of meme is that the two lips be pressed together in Ibhar. And we don't keep the lips open for that fa, because fa keeps the lips slightly open to go, right? أنفعلوا instead of أنفعلوا. Does that make sense? Alhamdulillah. Good to see. MashaAllah. All right. Now we're going to put it all together. This was a nice, easy class this week. Alhamdulillah. We didn't want to fill it up with too many things. All right. But it's in the same context as the class from last week on the Noon Sakina. So we need to understand how these two fit together. The three classes, the three chapters fit together. All right, a quick recap. For Noon Sakina and Tanween, we have 4 rules. Okay? We have Ibhar, and this occurs in the letters of the throat. Ain, Ha, Ghain, Kha. What's the other two?
Hamza, ha.
Nice. Hamza, Ha. I skipped those ones on purpose. Those ones come at the beginning. But it doesn't matter what order you say them in. Right? The second rule we have is Idgham, to merge. All right? And this occurs in the 6 letters Ya, Ra, Mim, Lam, Waw, Nun, Yarmulun. These are further split into 2 separate subcategories. All right. The first subcategory we have is idgham with gunna. What are the letters of idgham with gunna?
Yanmu.
Yanmu. Nice. Ya, nun, mim, waw. So if I have a nun sakin or tanween followed by one of those 4 letters, then I'm going to do idgham and I'm going to apply the same gunna of 2 harakat for that letter. Cool. And then the other subcategory we have idgham without gunna, and that is in the letters of
Ra and Lam.
Nice. Ra and lam. Cool. And in that case, we basically skip the noon or the tanween completely because there's no ghunna and there's no in component, so they both kind of cancel out completely. Cool. Our third rule of noon sakin and tanween is iqlab, which means to switch or to flip, right? And that's when I have a ba that comes after my noon sakin or tanween, then I'm going to switch that to a meme. That meme has a ghunna and an ikhfa. Ghunna, so we hum the meme for 2 harakat in the same way that we would apply the 2 harakat of meme with a shadda that we talked about in the beginning. Okay, and we do a full ikhfa of the noon. None of the noon shows up. The hum of the meme and the noon, they're the same thing anyway. Now, actually, we'll leave this for a second. I'll come back to it. Our fourth and final rule for noon sakina and tanween is ikhfa, and that's in all the other letters that we didn't cover so far, the other 15 letters. Okay, in the first letter of each word of صف ذا ثنا كم جاد شخصا قد سما دم طيبا زد في تقا ضاع ظالما. Right. And in those scenarios, we hide the tongue component of the noon, okay, and we show the we show just the ghunna part of it for 2 harakat, okay. So for example, antum, antum. I don't say antum. All right. Now for idgham with ghunna, I have one exception to that rule. Who remembers that exception?
Sinwan,
Before,
Dunya, and
yeah.
those. Kinwan.
Sorry?
Those 4 words that you shared earlier.
Yes, those 4 words. What's the rule called? Who knows?
Izhar Mutalik.
Nice. So on it. Ilhar mutlaq. Ilhar mutlaq. Complete ilhar. And that occurs in the 4 words of dunya, sinwan, kunwan, bunyan. Okay? In which case, because the noon sakina comes in the same word as the yanmu letter, the rule gets scrapped and instead we do ibhar for that noon. Awesome. The next chapter we covered the shadda, the noon and the meme mushaddadatain. Okay. If noon or meme have a shadda on them, and then we will elongate them, we will stretch them out in a humming for 2 harakat. Right, for 2 counts. Um, and okay, so we don't skip on that. We don't speed it up. We do it nice and slowly, and we take our time with that one. And the next one we talked about was the what we just talked about right now, the rules of meme sakina. The first rule of meme sakina is ikhfa, and that is only after, if there's a bat that follows it in the next word. So we have a meme sakina followed by a bat. We're going to hide the meme, okay? But we're not going to hide it completely. So there's still going to be that ghunna coming from the nose, okay? And we're still going to take it from the lips, but rather than pressing the lips together completely, as we normally would, instead we're just lightly laying the lips on top of each other, like you do in your regular resting state. If you're just sitting here, your lips are naturally just touching each other, but you're not like pressing your lips together like, yeah. Unless you're Mr. Bean, your lips are just going to be sitting there normally. So that's the same position that you have for ikhfa shafawi. Our next rule is idgham shafawi, so the labial merging, and that only occurs for memes. So if you have two memes next to each other, they merge together, make one big meme. And what do you know? The previous rule that we talked about with the ghunna applies. So we hold that for two harakat. Amma, amma. Nice. And our third and final rule is Izhar Shafawi, and that's just a regular default settings. You keep the meme nice and clear. If it comes before any of the other letters of the alphabet that are not meme or nun, I'm going to pronounce the meme nice and clearly. And to help us out, there's a little sukoon symbol on top of that meme in some masahif to help you recognize it and spot it out. Now, something important that I need to bring your attention to. When we look at nun sakina and tanween, we have our rule of iqlab, okay? And when you look at meme sakina, we have the rule of ikhfa shafawi. Those two are kind of similar, okay? They're kind of connected. The difference between them, when we talk about iqlab, we are substituting a complete, full two harakat of meme. Bihum. Okay, I'm making a nice long meme, and I'm pressing my lips together for this one. And then I force them apart for the b sound. Meme,
Is
by
this
the way,
iqlab? Is this iqlab that you're talking about now?
yes, a clap.
Okay.
Sorry, we're on the clap. I think I've had. So iqlab, we're talking about the meme, okay? If we apply we bring the lips together, okay, in the substitution of the noon, and we press for those two harakat. Meme, for your information, is a sound that's produced from the lips coming together, whereas ba is a sound that's produced from the lips pushing apart from each other. Aba, aba. The sound comes, the opposite sounds of each other, even though they come from the same place. Okay? When we look at the other side of the coin, where we look at ikhfa shafawi, okay, that meme, which is followed by a bat, so again, it's still a meme followed by a bat. This one is a lighter meme. The meme we only keep the lips sitting on top of each other. A common mistake is to mix these two up, okay, or to say that they're both the same. They're not both the same. Okay? The meme of iqlab is a strong two harakat meme. The meme of ikhfa shafawi is a light meme, okay, that has no pressure added to it. Oh, that's clear. Meme in iqlab is a nice strong meme followed by a nice strong bat. Meme in ikhfa shafawi is a light meme, okay, followed by a regular bat. The other thing I want to draw your attention to, some people say that when it comes to izhar shafawi, so that's meme followed by another letter, in the case of fa and waw, as we say, we need to be careful not to mix them up. Some have said that meme, when it comes before fa and waw, has a izhar kabir, a strong izhar, a strong clearing. That's not true. That's a misconception. When you have a meme followed by a waw or a fa, it's the same idhar as any other meme in any other place other than meme and that. Okay? There's no stronger idhar or lesser idhar. Okay? You have a regular meme, which is one harakah, and you have a meme mushaddad, which is two harakat, and that's only when it has the shadda written on top of it. It doesn't matter necessarily what letter comes in front of it, except meme. If you have a meme followed by a meme, then there's naturally going to be a shadda on top of it if the first one is sakin. So I hope that hasn't confused anyone. I'm sorry if we've been going around in circles and it feels like it's too repetitive or it feels like it's too complex. One thing I would recommend for everyone to do is, as we said in the very beginning, try and dedicate 3 hours a week to this class, or up to 3 hours, doesn't have to be all three. But before you come into your tutorials or before you start your quiz, try and review your notes that you've been taking in class. Okay. We also have the recordings on YouTube, the slideshows, whatever. You can review those. But if there's something that you don't understand, okay, or it's just really hard for you to get the concept across, just go over it again in your own time. A lot of the time, all there is to it is you just need a bit of repetition. You just need to be reminded of the rule. Simply hearing it once on a Monday and then showing up, if you're in the last class on a Sunday, and doing nothing in between, you might forget. By the time you get to Sunday, you might forget. So that's understandable. So try and keep your memory a little bit stimulated before your tutorial or before you do the quiz, because that will help you a lot. And if that's not enough, if you go over the slides or you go over the recording and you still don't quite get it, that's okay. Feel free to ask your tutor, or if you want to do it, if you've already had your tutorial and the question comes to your head, that's completely fine. You can message your tutor or you can message straight to me and I'll be happy to help you walk through it. Alhamdulillah. Any questions?
I have two questions, sorry. But it's not on the actual topic, but like half admin, like I guess.
Okay.
Could we get the recordings and the slides earlier than last week, please? That would be great.
Yeah, very sorry about last week. There was there's a bit of a thing in the background. Don't worry about it. The slides I've posted up this week before this class, so the slides are already up on Classroom. I posted them a while ago. You can find those and the recording. That's the admin team run the recordings. So once they send it to me, I post it out straight away.
Okay. No, yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah, the slides were most important. And then just for the which tutorial we're in now, because you said like at some point tonight, but if we're in the tutorial tomorrow morning, that would be kind of
Fair enough.
soonish.
Don't worry, you're not in that tutorial tomorrow morning.
Okay.
So you should be fine. Hold on, who do we have tomorrow morning so far?
Yeah, that was
Yeah, actually, I do want to
then.
talk to the people who are into tomorrow morning's tutorial. I've got a list of a couple of people here who, after we've done with the questions, I'm just going to ask you to stay behind. I need to have a quick chat with you just for logistics, see if your tutorial's all good. But don't worry, you're not in a Tuesday tutorial. You should be good.
Cool. Thanks. Jazakallah khair.
Yeah. Anyone else?
I had a question, but I didn't, because the iqlab and iqfa shafawi might have already confused some. I don't want to ask one more question and confuse other people, so I'm happy to wait right till the end to ask that.
Okay, cool. Stay behind with everyone else, please, and I'm happy to answer that. How do you know which sessions were placed in? I am going to be posting it on Classroom like right after I finish this call and right after I finalize with those last people. I will be posting it before 10 p.m. inshallah. Don't worry. I'll be asking the two people who are in the Tuesday to stay behind, and I'll be adding you to the WhatsApp groups using the numbers that you signed up with. Okay. If you have a different WhatsApp number than your regular mobile number, please let us know so we can adjust appropriately. Anyone else? I might miss this, but how and where do we pay for the course? We're still waiting on the admin team. They're the ones who are going to be running that. They will be reaching out via email at some point, inshallah. I'm not really in charge of that kind of stuff. But very good questions, alhamdulillah. Everyone's very involved with what's going on. Can I stay behind as well to check for this tutorial? Should I go through to the tutors? Yeah, fair enough. Absolutely. Please do. For the people who I'd like to stay behind, can I please have Brother Imad, Brother Yusuf, Dawood, Sister Yessi, M, if she's available, and Sister Jamila. And everyone else who just now said that they'd like to stay behind. As for everyone else, Jazakumullah khairan. We'll stop here. Subhanak Allahumma wa bihamdik. Nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Wa nashhadu an la ilaha illa ant. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
وعليكم السلام.
Wa alaikum salam.